Tā kā lūdzu, sagaidiet. Mēliss Antonens.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, have a good day. And I start on answer to the question what was asked. If you want to invest 32,000 euros to grain or bread or salt or whatever, then I don't know how big room you need for that and how much you need to invest to have conditions for keep all this. But if you want to invest to gold, 32,000, then you need to buy just such kind of bar. And this is the answer why gold is good investment and why you are not able to invest as a private person to what any kind of food or whatever. I give it out. It's okay. You can touch it. And this is 32,000 euros, and as simple as that.
32,000 euros.
Exactly. Normal car. And 1 kilo of gold. Before I want to speak about gold, I would like to explain a little bit about economical situation. And at the end, or in the middle of my presentation, probably you understand why I wanted to speak also about economic situation before speaking about gold or investment gold. What is the current situation? Few years ago, European Central Bank started to print money. Okay, they can call it whatever they want, quantitative easing, buying different kind of state loans, state debt, state bonds. Actually, this is printing money. I call it, in sport terms, I call it doping. They started 3 years ago, and in 3 years, you must achieve something. What we have achieved, or what are the results for now? As I said, Central Bank promised to do everything to save euro, and they have done it. Now, all the money is very cheap, and the question is, will cheap money help out us from crisis, or it was just temporary help without final help? Actually, what we see nowadays is that European Union, nearly all countries of European Union are still living over their capacities, and politicians still spend much more money they have actually in budget. When debt crisis in Europe started some 6-7 years ago, then public debt of countries of European Union was approximately 84-85% of GDP. For now, it is 93-94%. It means no change. They still spend money, and situation is coming worse and worse. And 16 countries out of 28 members of European Union have debt over 60% of GDP. And when this agreement of Maastricht was agreed years ago, then 60% was not pointed just as a nice figure, but it was a point of sustainability. It means that countries who have higher debt are not able, in sustainable way, to work with this debt. And now we see that 16 countries are already over the 60% of GDP of debt. And as I said, if you use doping, I think every sportsman who is using doping, playing a little bit with the health, is looking for the results, for the good results, much better results what he achieves without any kind of doping. As we see from European Union, there are no results. Actually, yes, we have temporary result. It means that we feel at the moment that everything is okay, no pain, no big news on the newspapers, but actually, as I saw from the debt level, nothing has changed. Fundamentally, nothing is changed, but large part of debt is gone from the markets and is removed on the responsibility of taxpayers, because I think also central banks are the so-called part of taxpayers' responsibility. And in my opinion, there is no other solution. Yes, we still can close the eyes, can play games that everything is okay, we're printing little more money, but one day we have to face the solution, and this solution will be inflation. Because how, by other way, it is possible to pay back all those debts what countries have. And here I use one sentence of Mr. Hayek. I do not think it is an exaggeration to say history is largely a history of inflation, usually inflation engineered by governments for the gain of the governments. If you look back on the history of money, or paper money so-called, you see, unfortunately, because of different reasons, paper money is not sustainable. There are all the time changes and changes. As I said, this debt pyramid had to collapse. And now the question is the crisis approaching to an end, or it is just beginning, or just halfway? And we still have long way to go. We see some kind of state capitalism already, and state increasing responsibility. And the question is how long it can work. And here I show you the stages of the crisis. I started with this slide at the year 2008. Then, first stage financial crisis was only red, because red one are the stages we are already past or we are. The next was economic crisis. We a little bit understood that we have something more than just Lehman Brothers or some bank mistakes. We understood it's overall, and we have debt crisis of countries. And now we have so-called halfway solution, state intervention in business, and also we use printing money. What will be the next stage is inflation. Yes, they start speaking that it is controlled inflation. Inflation under control, don't worry, everything is okay. But if you look back to history, then inflation is always going over the uncontrolled inflation. And finally, it will be hyperinflation. I think people of my age maybe remember even in our countries, in Estonia and Latvia, at the end of 80s. In 1988, I think 100 rubles was quite a big money. 3 years later, 5,000 rubles was the same amount of money if we compare in dollars. It means in 3 years, everything changed rapidly. On the moment of such kind of crises, you see how dangerous movements political decision makers can do. What happened in Cyprus? If you remember, for a few weeks, people had a lot of money in the banks, but were they able to take this money and use it? Yes, 200 euros per week. Their money was gone. Okay, there was even idea to take away some money from the private investors. Okay, finally, they decided not to do that, but it was very close to decide that even common people must be responsible for the crisis in Cyprus, and maybe 10%, 20%, maybe 50% of their holdings are gone. Yes, they decided not to do that at the moment, but that is the proof that in such a critical moment, politicians as smart they are not at the moment. They can make the decisions, or they can do decisions we don't like at all. They can come to our pocket and take money out of there. And one more important step to understand, we were speaking few years about Greece, but Cyprus and also Greece are very small countries. Greece is only 2% of Europe. It's nothing. Yes, we can really pay them and to came out of this bad situation. But who will be the next country in such a situation? Italy's debt is already 120%. If I remember correctly, Greece's problem started in 130% of GDP. It means that if Italy will be in problem, where will be money taken to help them? Italy is not 2% of GDP of European Union. It is already 12%. And France, okay, France is under 100% yet. But France is still spending, you know, Mr. Holland said that 3% of GDP per year to be in deficit, it's too little for him. It means they can spend money more. It means one day maybe France will be part of the problem. France is 20% of GDP of European Union, or let's say 18%. And who will help those countries? There will be no help, no any kind of power to help them. And this is just a slide to show that European Union is not the only bad place. It is nearly the same situation in United States. They print money as well, they have high debt, and the question is how long it can survive. This is the main hero of the money printing of our area, I would say, because Mr. Bernanke was the first guy who started to use it, and he got some kind of success. All the people have the feeling it works. Mr. Draghi, today's president of European Central Bank, I think in 2015 he got exactly idea from this guy, and they are happy. But how long is this happiness, or how long is the success for us, for taxpayers, for us as owners of money? And my question is, who will pay those steps back and how? And my answer is, it's not possible to pay back at all. And what I want to say is paper money always, because of politicians, under some kind of attack. And Mr. Voltaire already hundreds of years ago answered that paper money eventually returns to its intrinsic value, 0. Because this is just a promise. And if they print more money, it must influence also value of this money. You see what happened in Germany. And here is why I'm speaking about gold. Because in such a situation, you have to think how to protect your own investments, what to do. If you really believe that the economic situation, let's say currency system, is very stable, and all those problems with high debt and all this, let's say, economical crisis in Greece, in Italy, this is just something little, then I'm sure you don't think about investing in gold at all. But if you still have some kind of fear or some kind of feeling that maybe not 100% is okay, you have to guess about gold. Very often people ask from me when it happens. To be honest, I was a little bit too pessimistic. I'm afraid that this euro as a currency will have bigger problems sooner. Yeah? But as I said, they are printing money and they can still delay it. And I have no concrete answer. But I ask one example from you, and if you answer it, then you understand why I don't have the answer. If you take a glass of water, this empty glass, you put here one bacteria on the bottom, which multiplies every 1 minute interval. And you start at 12 o'clock, and it will be full at 24 in midnight. Then when the glass is half full, I'm waiting for the answer.
1 minute before.
Exactly. 1 minute before. And in the moment of crisis, it's very difficult to understand. Is it at the moment 23:30? And 23:30, you have something in the bottom only. Or it is 23:50. Or maybe it's only 10 o'clock p.m. It's 2 hours to go. I don't know the answer. But sure is that this glass, if it is the currency system of euro, it is in trouble. And then it is on the process. And one moment it will be full, and if it will be full, then you need gold. Very shortly about investment gold. Investment gold is not popular in Baltics and in Scandinavia, not at all. And the reason is very simple. Scandinavian banks have built up very strong banking system. And because of that, people of Scandinavia, they don't feel any kind of fear or any kind of feeling of crisis. And because of that, they trust banks, and banks are not interested to sell gold, probably because it is some kind of sign of weakness, and they don't want to show it. And because of that, this is of course good for my company, because years ago when I started, the platform to be successful in Scandinavia was free, was empty, and then we used it. And as Scandinavian banks are dominant banks also in Baltics, then we can say also that gold is not as an investment popular also in Baltics. Very popular markets are US, Canada. In Europe, most popular place is Germany. All big banks are dealing with gold and silver in Germany. This is very common investment. They sell big amounts, small amounts, and banks are the rulers of this business in Germany, but lucky us, not in our countries. Also in India, in Turkey, in such countries, if somebody gets married, it's normal they get few kilos or few tens of kilos with lady, and this is a little different. But still, market is huge. They sell a lot of gold. We started to sell gold in 2005, and it happened by accident. That was not our idea. We are a currency exchange company and also finance company doing transactions, and owner of the company became afraid of future of the money, and he wanted to invest in something which is trustable, and he found as a person investment gold, and he started to invest in gold. I think it was 2003, and he invested, and it was not related to company at all. And one moment he felt that if he has this gold on his own pocket, then it could be also a good idea to sell it. And how David in 2005 started to deal with gold. Now we sell in, let's say, approximately 3 tons of gold in year. This year it's 2.6 tons. This is the data of last week. At the beginning of this week, I think for the end it will be 2.9 tons. We are probably the largest retail gold dealer in Scandinavia and Baltics. We have 200 people working. And we acting in 8 countries, all Scandinavia, Latvia, Estonia, Bulgaria, and Poland. In Latvia, as I said, gold is not too popular. This year we have sold 380 kilos in Latvia. Probably it will be over 400 kilos for the end of year. Normally December is a very active month. Why gold is good? I already answered about comparing with food or something like this, that it is very small. Also it's independent from political decisions. Also anonymous. If you buy it, yes, okay, in Latvia it's not so simple, because in Latvia you you must show your ID in every buying and selling process. But if you go to Poland, to Estonia, Scandinavia, then it starts from 15,000 euros. It means that if you want to invest small amounts, it's totally anonymous on both sides. And I don't say that go to and buy 100% of gold, 100% of your portfolio only gold. No, you must share it, and then you must have also other investments. But for crisis, you must have 10 to 25%. A lot of people, they don't understand the idea of physical gold. That, I have e-gold, or I can buy bonds or stocks related to gold, and this is good enough. Yes, but if you buy e-gold, then my question, if you will be in trouble in some kind of critical situation where your gold is. If you buy physical gold, you own it. It's on your hands. If it's in other hands, then who is controlling it? I think not the owner of gold, but whose hands gold is, or he is the real owner. And because of that, I don't like myself e-gold, and I don't suggest.
Time's up.
And to the end, gold is too expensive. Is it? In last few years, gold price has dropped, and it has dropped because people still are feeling that crises are over. Debt crisis is just a sentence and nothing too serious behind it. You see, in 5 years, gold has increased. In 10 years, gold has increased 123% in euros and 103% in US dollars. Here you see the graph. It was dropped in 2013. It dropped nearly 30%. Very often people ask which is the best currency to protect themselves. They're afraid maybe about euro, maybe about dollar. Then best currency is gold. In last 10 years, increase was 10%, 15 years, 156%. And you see, in euros, the only year gold price dropped was 2013. All the rest years, gold has increased a little bit or more. And to the end, Tavex is acting in principle as a gold bank. We are selling gold, we are buying gold, and not to explain too long how the process is looking for, it's exactly the same as currency exchange. You just, if you have money in pocket, you come, you get it, and you go away. It's really, really very simple. Thank you.
For the beginning, just checking, where's that golden stick, please? There. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
No worries. I'm a very good runner. I can catch everybody. I'm running marathons. It means that...
So you were tracking it while you were speaking?
Yes.
Oh, right.
And it has
Okay. GPS in it. All right. Is it clear that we're just going to Tavex, buying gold, bringing back home and putting it under the bed, right?
You can put it on bank safe if you trust banks. It's your question. You know, I am not able to give such kind of advice. Okay. This is very personal decision. If you have good safe at home, you can give it. You can keep it at home. If you don't have, then you must.
One thing we do have is good tax consultant and a very good lawyer, so they could consult us on what to do with that gold when we buy it, please. Any comments on this? Vai kādi komentāri par šo, lūdzu, par nodokļiem? So this will be explanation in Latvian about the tax things.
Jā, es runāšu latviski. Es pavisam īsi vienkārši pateikšu, ka ieguldījums zelts arī ir uzskatāms par kapitāla aktīvu. Tanī brīdī, kad jūs viņu iegādājaties, jums nav nekādas nodokļu sekas, kamēr jūs viņu turiet mājās zem gultas vai bankas seifā, pēc jūsu izvēles arī jums nekādas nodokļu sekas nav. Nodokļu sekas iestājās tanī brīdī, kad jūs viņu pārdodiet. Un tad, kad jūs viņu pārdodiet, tad jums šis ienākums ir jādeklarē. un jāprēķina nodoklis par starpību starp iegādes vērtību, par starpību starp pārdošanas cenu, atņemot no tās iegādes vērtību, kā arī izdevumus, kas jums ir radušies saistībā ar šī ieguldījuma zelta iegādi, ja tādi vispār ir bijuši.
Safes skaitās kā izdevumi?
Safes, ja jūs maksājiet par seifa nomu, piemēram, bankas seifa nomu, jā, tie būs izdevumi.
Komunālie izdevumi, jā.
Komunālie diez vai.
Okay.
Bet galvenais, ka jūs šos izdevumus variet arī dokumentāri pierādīt, tas arī ir būtiski, un ka tie tiešā veidā saistīti ar šī zelta turēšanu un glabāšanu.
Okay.
Tas tā pavisam īsi no nodokļu viedokļa.
Paldies. Arī pavisam īsi lūdzu no juridiskā viedokļa. Atkal strīpa ar riskiem.
Well, thank you for your presentation. I mean, I must confess, after the last year's investment, this forum, I'm a proud client of yours as well, contributed some of those statistics. And, I was also kind of watching, in reality, I think nobody really knows, it's going up or down. But, over the last, and the tendencies has been, your chart, what it shows, it's also, back in 11, right, it was like something like $57,000 for a kilo. Today is something like 34,000, right? It's for a kilo on the stock exchange. So you see there has actually been quite an impressive drop. So, and I also talked with one of the investors and said, the gold price is dropping and stuff like this. He said, Mēliss, he said, hopefully you are smart enough to continue buying. Yeah, but you never know. You have to take, of course, your options, your chances, and the gold is by no means not your sole investment, but as a diversification in your portfolio. I think it also goes a little bit along with our local mentality, and so it's really something that you will be able to buy food from, yes, just in case of something. So that's kind of my personal experience with it, and I'm still looking forward to it. So, but just a couple of things. So, from legal perspective, in Latvia every gold bar needs to bear this local proof or this local certification? Does anybody know the answer? Is it mandatory to have this Latvian local statement to make sure that it is actually gold?
No, it's not necessary.
No,
sure.
It's not necessary. Yes, sure. Well, it's not necessary for gold bars and for investment gold. And but just in case you want to check, just in case you really want to check whether that is gold, where do you go? Which institution in Latvia can, make an independent assessment of it? No?
No.
Yes, Latvia's Proves Birojas, the right answer, right? And actually it costs a few, not a few euros, but a tiny amount of money to make sure that you have the real value. And also, but I would also think that if you buy gold, if you do investment gold, please still keep the documentation that you have acquired it. It is also important for the tax office. It is important for your own finances. So please keep the documentation. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Only one comment, that if you buy investment gold, don't buy it on the market or from the hands of, I don't know, strangers. You must go to the, legal place, real dealer of gold, because they do not sell you any kind of gold product you need to go to, to control at all. Because if you go to Tavex, an example, then we get all our products controlled already before sale, and it means that if you're buying it, no need to waste waste money, I would say, because you must be very careful buying on hands, because I have seen the people who are not very well informed about gold as an investment, and they buy, an example in Italy, so-called cheap gold. Then they come to our office and they get very destroyed if they understand that this is not gold at all. And because of that, I say, use only legal dealers. It means that you have some kind of proof of real gold.
Okay,
I can only agree to it. I mean,
thank
sure.
you. Thank you very much. Paldies!